Good afternoon, welcome to the BBC Weather Centre Facebook Live. My name is Nick Miller, I'm one of the BBC's weather presenters, broadcast meteorologists. Picture of snow behind me. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Over the next at least 10 minutes, we're going to go through some of the major weather stories happening around the world at the moment. We'll take a look at the UK situation as well, because there is some of this in the forecast, not as much of this in the forecast. As you know, this says Japan if you're looking closely. And of course, very interested in having any questions from you about the weather setup both in the UK and around the world. If you want to know what's going on, what's driving some of the weather, some of the big storms that are taking place at the moment, a bit more detail about that, please feel free to ask me, engage with us through Facebook Live with some of the questions. I'll try to get to some of those through my tablet here. I'll just put this to one side for now. I'll come back to that when those questions start to come in. A little bit about what I'm doing here today. I'm the world broadcaster here at BBC Weather Today, and I came to work at, it seems like a long time ago now, 7 o'clock this morning. I was on the 6:22 train this morning. It was dark. There was an owl hooting in the distance. Very atmospheric start to the day. A cold start to the day in the UK, mind you. And I'm on this shift which is supplying BBC World with all of its world weather requirements. I've been talking about the Australia heat wave so far today a couple of times on BBC World Output, and providing their forecast for places all around the world, and a skiing forecast as well. I'm not a skier personally, but I've also supplied that, which you can see at BBC Weather online. You can also get that played out on BBC World too. So that's what I'm doing here today, and actually this is my last but most pleasurable task of the day, and I just want to do what I promised and go through some of the major weather events happening around the world at the moment. So, why have I got a picture of snow in Japan behind me, and not just this picture as well, but yeah, they've been digging out the snow. What we've seen in Japan is an area of low pressure move through, and that's produced some strong winds, certainly, but plenty of snow showers coming through over the Sea of Japan, picking up the moisture. So you get that really cold air and a brisk breeze, and just picks up some moisture, deposits that, if the temperature profile of the atmosphere is right, as snow showers, and particularly down this western side through, especially Honshu into Hokkaido as well. And some of those have been traveling a little bit further east. And this snowfall, I think, is going to continue over the next couple of days as well. So there's certainly some more snow to come here. Now, anyone around the northeast of the USA will know there's been a blanket of snow, the snowiest weather of the winter so far. But look where this area of low pressure is now, all the way up towards the eastern side of Canada and traveling along a brisk jet stream. So that's heading out of the way. Mind you, there's a cold wind blowing in here. We've got this area of low pressure coming through, and that's going to push its way in. It looks like it'll be some of us in the northeast of the USA over the weekend getting some rain rather than snow, but New England, it looks like snow once again. So here's a look at things as they develop Saturday and Sunday. So this was a headline maker in the news, certainly, and especially in this part of the world, but around the world with scenes like this. In New York, got 24 centimetres, but this is the forecast for Sunday. And notice that the bulk of that snowfall looks like it will be to the north of New York, but you'll know with a temperature of around 3 Celsius, it's a real fine line between rain and snow, but it does look like it will be more of rain in New York rather than snow, but you don't have to travel very far north to encounter some travel difficulties in that part of the world. Just a few city forecasts here. Montreal certainly cold enough for some more snow out of this weather system. In New York, there's the rain falling here, but again, it's another system that doesn't hang around very long, and by Monday we're back into some sunshine here. But yeah, it has been the snowiest weather system that's moved through the northeast of the USA so far this winter, really. So getting on towards mid-February, you could say that's quite late. I want to go south into South America, show you some storms here on the forecast picture for parts of Argentina into Uruguay. Look at the bright colours on the rainfall picture. If you're not too familiar with our charts here, that just indicates the intensity of the rainfall, how much rain is going to come out of these. And in fact, it's a developing area of low pressure around the River Plate area. So Buenos Aires, Montevideo could well see a lot of rain out of this weather system. There's also a chance of picking up a few isolated tornadoes as well, not unheard of by any stretch of the imagination in this part of the world. Just checking out the tablet here. Oh, yeah, okay. couple of questions there. Just want to run through the situation in Australia, then I'll come back to that in just a moment. Yeah, a lot of rain in parts of Western Australia. You'll know all about that in Perth. A lot of heat down to the east and southeast. Notice that this band of wet weather's gone through. We had a cool change in Melbourne, but Canberra, Sydney on Saturday, still around 40 Celsius. So still threatening record temperatures here, but look at the cool change coming in Sydney and Canberra on Sunday at around 30 degrees. Okay, I'll pick up my tablet here and see what you are asking me. This is BBC Weather Facebook Live on a Friday afternoon in the bustling BBC Weather Centre. And Claire says, will we get rain in Dubai soon? Well, there's a very interesting development taking place across parts of the Middle East as we go through late stages Sunday to Monday. And as if by magic, oh, it's this next chart as well. I can show you that. I want to show you the picture for Monday. So we've got a developing area of low pressure here, and actually see storms become fairly widespread here. And they're accompanied by gusty winds as well. Some places could see a lot of rain in a short space of time, the risk of getting some flooding out of that. We're also going to see the risk of getting some sandstorms out of that as well. Of course, it's a major aviation part of the world, so there could well be some disruption out of this weather system. Inevitably, there'll be some places that get, well, a lot of rain, get big disruption. Other places that say, well, I might have wanted that, but it hasn't come. But you can see, I think it is going to have quite an impact here, as this system also straddles through Saudi Arabia as well, just to the south of Jeddah. So, Claire, thank you very much indeed for that. Oh, well, I've talked a bit about the world. The UK questions are coming in. I know I wouldn't be able to stop you talking about the UK snow. I did look out I'm not working a world shift here today, but I did look out the window not too long ago, and I did see a flake of snow in London, and I'm sure that people are very excited. Hannah says it's snowing in Oundle, Northamptonshire at the moment. Great. Well, not so great perhaps if you're travelling. I know there's not a huge amount of snow coming out of, but there's enough to make a bit of a difference, and it's certainly cold enough. Craig, any snow heading towards the UK? Well, Hannah just answered that question, Craig, by saying that it's snowing in Northamptonshire, and I've seen a flake of snow in London, but I'm getting a lot of these questions now about some snowfall. Let's take a look at the UK situation and find out exactly what we're talking about. Well, let's go. My next chart. It's as if you know the order of my charts here, that I can go straight to them. We know the setup across the UK, this big area of high pressure, so it's around that we're dragging in colder air on a brisk easterly wind. Now, we've had the odd flurry in the past day or so, but what's happening now is we're getting weather disturbances moving in. Here's one, and it's just now and over the weekend, just starting to increase that potential for getting some snow. But again, it's a fine line between whether you see rain, sleet, rain-snow mix, or snow out of this, and elevation will make a difference as well. Because it's cold. I know you think it feels cold, but is it cold enough? That is the huge question. I want to show you a picture for the UK. This is the one I wanted. So let me get to that now. Just gone by. Apologies for that. Start that again. So this is the picture as we run through Saturday. And look at this, we're just dragging in some weather disturbances here on that easterly wind, and we're pulling in these showers. But look at these daytime temperatures for Saturday. I know we'll start the day around about freezing, but we end up about 4 or 5 degrees. So what we're expecting to come through tonight, and again probably on Saturday night and into Sunday, are these showers. Now, as they're coming in off the sea, right along the coastline here of eastern Scotland, eastern England, might just be rain. Further inland, though, is more cold air established, and also you get some hills too. You get the North York Moors, you get them running into the Pennines, you get them running into the Cheviots, you get them running into the southern uplands as well to some degree, and I think particularly on Saturday night you get them running into the Peak District. And the Met Office does have a yellow be aware warning for some of these areas here, as we're expecting some of this snow to accumulate. But even at lower levels, away from the immediate coastline, through parts of southeast Scotland, central and eastern parts of England in particular, yeah, you could see a little bit of snow. I'm not saying you're going to see a huge amount of snow, but I think some of us on Saturday morning are going to wake up to a light covering. You go up into higher ground, you'll see some more snow out of that, so take it easy on some of the higher routes. But I think the more significant snowfall is going to be coming through on the highest routes, and perhaps even above those. So we're talking 300 to 350 metres. But if you've got kids and you want something to do on Saturday and head to the park, there may just be a little bit of a covering in some spots to have a little bit of fun. in that. Also watching some showers coming in towards the far southeast of England, Sussex and Kent through the night and into Saturday morning. They might just line up into a narrow area where if you get one after the other, again, you get the possibility of seeing some covering out of that. Let's just dip away from the UK for a moment. I know we'll come back to that. Say hello to Alex, who's asking when will this heat wave in Sydney end. Alex, I just talked a little about Australia just a little bit earlier, so we can definitely go back to that. I just want to show you this picture here. Now, we've had a cool change come through into parts of the southeast, so in Melbourne the temperature's already come down. Make no doubt about it, Sydney is still going to be punishingly hot during Saturday at around 40 Celsius. There are parts further inland in New South Wales which are rated as having catastrophic fire danger. That is an actual, if you know about this in Australia, that is an actual level of fire danger. And that is because we've got strengthening winds over the weekend and we're getting these temperatures further inland in New South Wales are getting, 45, 46 Celsius, near record temperatures. I'll tell you what, there was a temperature on Thursday in South Australia, Tarcoola, 48.3. I mentioned that earlier, and I know I got a comment from someone saying, well, it's the outback in Australia. Oh, it's not surprising, it's going to be hot. That's less than a degree away from the all-time high in Tarcoola, South Australia. It may be the outback, it may be hot, but that's very hot, and I'm sure the people in Tarcoola were talking about that. But the cool change is going to come through Sydney, it's going to reach into Canberra too. So at the end of the weekend, those temperatures are going to come down, more so on Monday. Tell you what, watch out though, because that's going to come with quite a strong wind for a time, and there will be some showers, maybe some thunderstorms working on through. You know about it, that's how that change happens. But a little bit of relief is on the way, and you may well be happy to know about that. Natalie, what's the holiday weather like in Tenerife? Natalie, this is the last question we've got, but this is very important because I do have something to show you, and here it is. We've got Tenerife. It's as if by magic we've got this lined up for your question. And look at this. Area of low pressure close by. That means rain and strong winds quite often, moving in that direction, pushing a band of heavy downpours through the Canary Islands with strong winds. It's flip-flops, but it's umbrellas too. You know the sunshine's going to come back in Tenerife because it's Tenerife, but for now, over the weekend, there are going to be some heavy downpours around. Thank you for all your questions. Really enjoyed it. Facebook Live from BBC Weather. We do this regularly, so look out for the next notification of when this is going to happen, and hopefully, before too long, I'll be back with you doing it. We call it Facebook Live at BBC Weather. I like to call it the Nick Miller Weather Show. So hopefully it doesn't get cancelled after one episode. See you next time.